Atheists rarely miss an opportunity to proclaim what a rational, scientific, evidence-based worldview they have. So it seems natural for me to ask, if that's the case, please provide a rational, scientific, evidence-based defense of atheism, that is, the belief that God does not exist. At this point, they typically respond, atheism is not the belief that God does not exist, rather, atheism is the lack of a belief in God. And yet somehow the theist belief that God exists is erroneous to them, and they could contradict the theist belief that God exists with their own lack of belief. Don't ask me how that happens, that's a discussion for another time. In any case, I was wondering, do atheists actually hold to this definition in their own online hovels, in their own online echo chambers? So I decided to check one of the most popular atheist Facebook groups, We Fucking Love Atheism, and particularly the messages inscribed in that most hallowed form of atheist expression, the meme graphic. So let's see. Prepare to have your minds blown. These atheists are going to send our world shattering down around us with their meme graphics, so steel yourselves. What's crazier than having an imaginary friend? Having an imaginary enemy. And of course, when they call God imaginary, that is in no way meant to suggest he doesn't exist. An atheist would never do that. What would you think if you learned the inhabitants of Kepler 452b? Oh, it's so intellectual. They're talking about planets and shit, it's so sciencey. What would you think if you learned the inhabitants of Kepler 452b were killing each other over who had the best imaginary friend? That's exactly what I think about your pathetic religious wars here on Earth. And of course, when we talk about someone's imaginary friend, we're not saying they don't exist. We merely lack a belief in someone's imaginary friend. Isn't that correct? Christians, can you see this dot? Look really closely. Its size represents the amount of fuck I give when you tell me your imaginary God will send me to hell. And of course, they're merely calling God imaginary. They're not saying he doesn't exist. That's two different things. Until man stops giving credit... Are you noticing a theme here? Until man stops giving credit to imaginary deities for his accomplishments, he will never take responsibility for his atrocities. It seems like kind of a flimsy point to me. The bare assertion that God is imaginary is kind of superfluous to it anyway, but moving on. Oh, we have a joke here, so hold on to your funny bones. What's the difference between worshipping God and worshipping the sun? The sun actually exists. But-a-psh. These are the jokes, folks. And please note that when atheists say that God does not exist, they're not actually saying that God does not exist. They merely lack a belief in him. Remember, you can never fully trust a person who can clear their conscience just by asking for forgiveness from their imaginary friend. You know, my intellectually superior, free-thinking atheist betters never cease to astound me with how clever and original they are. This is just edgy stuff. So there you have it. Atheism seems to be the belief that God does not exist in almost every circumstance, except for the one where you actually have to prove it.